Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing very well. Great. Students, today we are going to start with new chapter and the name of this chapter is the French Revolution. Children, in this chapter we are going to cover the following topics. These are the causes of French Revolution. Number 2, the outbreak of French Revolution. Number 3, impact of French Revolution. Number 4, the post-revolution period. And number 5, about Napoleon Bonaparte. This we will discuss in brief. Right, children? Now let's begin with the causes of French Revolution. Children, the first cause was social inequality. Children, to know how and why the French Revolution occurred, it is necessary to understand the condition of French society of the 18th century that caused the revolution. Actually, the French society was divided into classes, or we can call it as estates, right? The first two classes or estates were comprised of the clergy and the nobles. They were of 5% of the total population, right? They were the privileged classes and controlled all the high posts in the administration and in the army. They lived in luxury and paid no taxes. Remember this thing, they were not supposed to pay any taxes, right? Now let's discuss about the third estate. Third estate or the third class. The remaining 95% of the population comprised the third estate and they paid taxes. The great majority of the peasants were landless or had very little land. The burden of taxation was too much for them. In this, we will cover about the workers and the artisans. Their condition was also equally bad. Children, the third estate comprised of middle class also, to whom we called it as the bourgeoisie. And this middle class comprises of educated people and professionals such as lawyers, doctors, teachers, writers, and civil servants. Even the merchants also belong to this class. Right, children? Now let's move to the next cause, that is suppressive government. Now, under this, we will discuss about the political cause of French Revolution. Children, remember one thing, at that time, the ruler of France was King Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette. Okay, so according to French monarchs, it was believed that the ruler had the divine rights to rule. Means they had been given the right to rule by God Himself. So, as a result, they were highly autocratic and considered their rule to be above question or criticism. They therefore began to misuse their power and led a life of extreme extravagance. So, in this manner, the people finally revolted during the rule of Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette. Now, let's discuss about the economic cause, and that we will discuss under the heading hunger and poverty. Bache, in this, what was happened? A number of famines in France led to a severe shortage of food and an increase in prices. But the aristocracy means the elite class or the rich people. So we can say that the elite class and the nobles, they continued to live their lives in luxury and they were not supposed to pay any taxes. The French treasury went bankrupt when they became involved in the American War of Independence. So, all these factors made the people of the Third Estate impatient and desperate for change. Now, let's discuss about the role of philosophers. and the role of American Revolution. Children, philosophers like Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, they inspired the French people through their writings. They spread the idea of liberty. Liberty means freedom, equality, and fraternity, which became the slogan of the French Revolution. And how American War of Independence influenced the French Revolution. They inspired French soldiers who had participated in the war when they came back with new ideas and inspired their people to fight against oppression and injustice. Children, in this manner, all the causes of the French Revolution we have discussed. Now let's discuss the outbreak of the revolution. So outbreak of the revolution will be divided into different points. So here we have four different steps. First of all, bankruptcy. Then we have the formation, then we have the Estate General. Estate General means their parliament. Then we have the formation of National Assembly. And then we can have the tennis court oath. So we can say that these are all uh, series of events which happened or which occurred one after other. So what happened in 1789? The French monarchy was brought to a desperate situation, and Louis XVI, means the King of France, he needed money and had to call the Estates General to get new taxes and loans. But what happened? All the three estates were represented in this body. Means this is the definition of Estates General. Okay, so their representatives were the part of Estates General. So during that time, the third estate took the advantage of the king's difficult situation. So on 17th June 1789, the National Assembly was formed. After 2-3 days, on 20th June, the third estate met at the Royal Tennis Court to work out a constitution for France. Here, the members took an oath that they would continue to meet till they drafted a constitution. This is called the oath at the tennis court. Right, children? Now, after this, listen to me very carefully. After this, the king attempted to stop the meeting, but he was failed. This angered the people, and thousands began to march towards the capital. So, capital means the capital of France, Paris. Now, let's see what happened once they reached Paris. So, there the royal guards, they also joined the common man, the third estate. Now, the revolution day had come. On 14 July 1789, they surrounded Bastille. What was Bastille? It was the state prison, and they set all prisoners free. And the revolt spread like wildfire to other towns and then to the countryside. The fall of Bastille was a symbol of the downfall of the autocratic regime. So, in this manner, Louis XVI lost all his powers, and the National Assembly renamed as the Legislative Assembly and began to enact laws. After this, it adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, and it proclaimed the equality of all men before law, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom from arrest without cause, and equitable distribution of taxes. So, in this manner, these ideals became the guiding principles of the Republic of France. Children, this is all about in this video. Rest of the topics we will cover in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Stay safe.